Brazilian women and Colombian women.
And add the Dominican women while you're at it too. The Dominican woman, yeah, man.
But I'm gonna say, for some reason, if you say you're Colombian or Dominican, if you're a 7, you just went to a 9. If you're a 6, you just went to a 9. For some reason, men lose their mind and a woman becomes 10 times more attractive.
Hey, Jamie Woods, we here to travel and motivate. No curry, we just trying to keep our minds in a golden state. We answer to nobody but the Lord, we control our fate. Too many things to see just to sit in a hole and bake. We growing, ayy.
So it brings up something, and I would say it's a little important that I want to kind of touch on too really quick. I don't know why it is, but for some reason, Brazilian women and Colombian women,
and add the Dominican women while you're at it too. The Dominican woman, yeah, man.
But I'm going to say, for some reason, if you say you're Colombian or Dominican, if you're a 7, you just went to a 9. If you're a 6, you just went to a 9.
Oh, you're talking about rating scale.
Yeah, it's like.
I thought you were talking about like the money stuff. Like
I'm talking about in general with just rating. Like, for some reason, men lose their mind and a woman becomes 10 times more attractive if they say, "Oh, I'm Colombian." Or
here's the thing, man. Is just a comment on that. Because I've been, obviously you've been to both. You definitely. I mean, you lived in. You haven't even mentioned this yet. We haven't even talked about Brazil, but and Brazil's my place. But the thing about Brazil and Colombia is I feel those two countries specifically, in my personal opinion, out of all the countries I've been to, those are my top 2. Those are my top 2. I don't think there's a place on the planet, in my opinion, that can compete with those 2 places. So I feel like the average woman in these places, if you were to put the average woman in Colombia and Brazil and put them in the United States or put them in any other country, they would be almost a 10, almost a 9 or a 10. Because I don't know what it is in the water out there. I guess is that the diversity, especially in Brazil, there's a lot of diversity there. That these girls just they have this look to them. I don't know, and not even just the look, but the way they speak and the way they act and the way they walk and the way they dress. These girls, especially in Brazil, I can't really speak too much in Colombia, but in Brazil, these girls don't wear like brand stuff. They don't wear none of this, all these things that these girls be wearing over here. They wear basic stuff, but they're able to rock it out in a way where it looks super sexy and in some ways look better than what some of these girls be wearing here. So I just think it's I don't know what it is about those 2 places.
If I'm going to say personality, I would have to take Brazil or Brazilian women or Colombian women. I just think Brazilian women are more fun. They're more bubbly. They're in general, they're just a little bit more interesting. It can be very hard to have conversations sometimes with women here in Colombia in general.
But one thing I realized about talking to the Colombian girls is that a lot of them, I don't know if I would say bland, but it's very surface level. Out of the ones that I've talked to, I could be wrong, but that's just my experience. It's very surface level. Now, if you compare them to the Brazilian girls, it's all over the place. You like these Brazilian girls, just their personalities and everything is just very playful. They like to banter. Sometimes I had some deep conversations with some of them. You know what I mean? Like it's you don't know what to expect really with Brazilian women. They're very spontaneous. And I always love that more. So I've always preferred Brazilian women over Colombian, but you can't deny that Colombian beauty. And I'm not saying all Colombian women are, have no personality, but the ones I've talked to, they don't really have the most personality, to be honest.
So if we're going with personality, I would have to give that to Brazil over Colombia. Now, as far as looks go, I would say and I only know Rio, so I can't speak on other parts. So I'm only going to comment here on Rio. Rio has more natural looking women and they have more diverse looking women. And the thing is that the women just don't have as much money to go do plastic surgery and all the stuff like they do here in Colombia or in Medellin, or they're not trying to get guys to finance it for them. So that's one part of it. But there also too, you have the diversity. Now, in my opinion, I do have to give beauty to Colombia, because yes, you do see more natural looking women there. But I think once you're in Rio and you get past the suntan skin, the fucking tan lines, and Because that right there will hypnotize you. Them damn tan lines.
Yo, with that yellow Brazil crop top. Ooh.
Yep. Like once you're there for a few days and you get past that initial part, to me, when you just start seeing average women that are walking around, they're really not all that great. Like, yeah, you'll see some, but when I was there, I was going through malls, I was walking around. It's like, yeah, you see them, but they're just not as frequent as you'll see them here in Colombia or in Medellin specifically in certain places. Now, in the world and worldwide, it all depends on what you're into. For me personally, I love Latinas, which is the reason why I'm here in Colombia. But I do have to say, if you haven't been to like Romania, if you haven't been to like Eastern Europe, and this is if you're into white women, they have probably equal as far as beauty. Or if you haven't been to like Morocco, you know, and I love Middle Eastern women. For me, my top two has to be either Middle Eastern or Latina. That's it.
Hey, bro, I give you that one. I'm on the same boat practically.
There's no other for me. It's Middle Eastern or Latin. That's it. But yeah, it just depends on what you're into. But for me personally, this is another reason why I'm here in Medellin. But as far as Brazil goes, like I said, I would have to definitely give them, you know, if you're into more natural looking women, Brazil or Rio or Brazil in general is going to be more of your thing. Now there is a lot of pay for play and sex work and stuff like that in Brazil as well. So it's not like you're completely exempt from that there. But you know, here in Medellin or in certain parts of Colombia, you're going to get more of the veneers. You're going to definitely here in Medellin, you're going to get the nose job, the rhinoplasty. It's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of narcissism. And it's one of the things I hate, but you know, sometimes you can be on a date and a girl is going to whip out a phone and start doing all this, and it's annoying as hell. But you know, it's just something you got to deal with, you know, while you're here. But definitely, it really just depends on what your taste is.
So let me comment on that. I agree with that to an extent. I really do. But here's what I got to say about that, to comment on that. And I think International Zoe might have said this, or someone that I interviewed. But the way I would put it is like this. When it comes to the amount of beautiful women you're going to be coming across, I would give that to Medellin. I would give it to Colombia. I feel like there's just a plethora, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of beautiful women. However, I will say, I think Brazil has the higher ceiling. When it comes to the average woman, Colombia got more attractive average women than Brazil does. However, I feel if you compare the baddest girls, if I were to pick the 10 baddest girls from Brazil, the 10 baddest girls from Colombia, the Brazilian ones, in my personal opinion, would be badder, just because of that diversity. And there's a higher, and just the natural beauty. Like me personally, I've been around the country. And I mean, Minas Gerais, I mean, the south of Brazil, Sao Paulo, Rio, you know, Rio is just a small, like, section, a small state or a city, I should say, in the country. There's still a lot. Brazil's a ginormous country.
Of course. I agree with you in that part, but I always say when this argument comes up, who has won the most Miss Universes?
I mean, listen, man, I don't agree with. I mean, hey, bro, listen, I like the fact that you put that out there, but I never really agree with it. A lot of the time that these girls win it, I'm like, really, that girl won it? You know me? But I get what you mean with that. Yeah, sure. Colombia has one, and I'm just going with whatever you're saying, right? I don't have the stats in front of me.
Yeah,
but from what I've seen, I feel the higher ceiling is in Brazil. Yeah. I'm a big man about diversity. I know Colombia does have diversity, but in my opinion, not to the extent Brazil has. And if you guys want to see that for yourself, check out my Patreon. Check out some of the clips. I even put some of the clips on my YouTube with my interviews that I did with the models and girls from Brazil. And I'm trying to get to the Colombia stuff as well. But in my opinion, that's just my personal opinion. Not saying it's fact.
I respect that.
I feel the higher ceiling is in Brazil. I just feel that we're talking average women. Obviously, Colombia got that.